Hi everybody, this is Lori at the Calico Cat Quilt Shop in Pipestone, Minnesota, and we recently got in some new advent calendar panels, and so I thought I would do a quick demo on how to make the advent calendar if you get a panel like this. These don't specifically have any directions, and so I know sometimes that can be kind of confusing. So we are going to go over to the other camera and let me show you how this works. So you can see on these panels they have a little fold marked on them, and so the intention there is that's the line that you fold to. I've already got a couple of these ironed, but what you want to do is take the one fold and match it up to the other one. And I think probably the easiest way is to press it and then pin, but you could certainly pin and then do stitching if you wanted to. And it's going to be really close to the top of these characters, so I'm going to be a little bit careful because I don't want to miss any of those. Tops because they're so cute. But I'm just going to give that a good press. And you can see right now with the wool mat behind it that it's just a tiny little pocket. And if you want to, you can make it bigger. We could make it so that it was square, or even go all the way close to the top, or at the top if you wanted to. It's really not a big deal. It depends on what you want to be putting in these pockets. So if you keep it at the fold lines, the pocket isn't going to be very deep, but you'll be able to see what's in there. So I've got most of them done, but we're going to do one more just to show. And I think the cat watching the bird is so cute. Isn't that just like a cat? And I don't have one, but if I had a tailor's clapper, I would probably put it on here to help hold it down until I got it pressed. Just to make sure I get the lines where I want it. And keep everything straight and lined up. Okay, so now that I've got those pressed, we're going to come back over here and I'm going to go ahead and pin this. I suppose it would be helpful to have some pins to do that. Okay, and I can use whatever pins I want. Actually, those white ones aren't going to show up very good, so I might skip the white ones. But as a matter of fact, I could probably get away with one every other line. Actually, I'm going to rethink this. I'm going to put one on the edge way over there. And then if I do every other line, and one way over here on this edge. I think that's about how I want to do that. Then I won't have one with every line. And now we can fast forward through this. Okay, so now that we've got our piece pinned in place, we've got a choice. We can either, and let me switch back here again. So we can either put this together, get the backing, batting, and put it together, or we can go ahead and machine baste these lines and then put it together. It'll move a little bit easier if we just pin it, but we'll save a step. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to attempt to put my layers together without doing anything to my backing. Usually, especially if it's a bigger quilt, I'm gonna go ahead and, if I was working on this surface, I would tape it down so that it didn't move. Or whatever method that you want to use. And I'm just gonna do like half of this at a time probably. So I'll start at the top. And the top will be the easy part. And my batting is just barely going to be big enough. But since I'm going to do it on my little machine, it'll be just fine. So I'm not going to put you through the agony of watching me pin this whole thing in regular motion. I'm going to put a couple of pins in and then we can speed it up. And if it was a bigger quilt, I would start from the middle and work to the edges, but it's small enough, I think I'll be okay going from one end to the other. And I don't have to put a ton of pins in here, but I do want to make sure I put plenty of pins in on that fold, so that doesn't shift around on me. what I can't do is pull too hard. On my top, because basically I'll mess up my pleats. Okay, and then I'm going to put just a couple pins in the bottom to hold it. And then I'm going to double check the back and make sure I don't have any major puckers or anything in the backing that will cause wrinkles when I go to quilt that. Get these out of the way. Oh, I do have one little pucker up here. No, it's not too bad. So I'll fix my pins up here, which will work better if I flip it back this way again. And then we will take it over to the machine. I think that'll be okay. All right. Okay, we are at the machine, and since I'm going to go ahead and quilt these and stitch them at the same time, I went ahead and put my walking foot on, and I'm going to start in the middle. And I didn't really have a matching thread, so I copped out and decided I'm going to use a clear thread, and that'll work fine. So like I said, I think what I'm going to do is just stitch through the middle, and I think with my quilting I'm going to go down the middle of all of these darker gold bars. So I'm going to go ahead and start up here and get things kind of centered. And I'm going to do a locking stitch to begin with, or back and forth or whatever. And then I need to be careful not only to stay in the middle if I'm going down the middle, but to make sure that if I need to reset my presser foot when I get to these folds, I do that so that I don't have them crawling past where I want them to be. everything straight. Now going down these lines, I placed my pins in a way that they're not going to get in the way. I won't have to take them out until I'm done. And there again, I just want to make sure that those don't take off on me. And I probably could have set my stitch length a little longer. But so long as I'm consistent, it's going to look the same no matter what. And then, like I said, if I'm going to go ahead and stitch through the middle of all of them for my quilting, then I'm going to go ahead and go all the way to the bottom there. And I could actually just go down to my next row and go the other direction from here, and then I wouldn't have to start a new stitch. So let's just do that. Okay, and I do want to make sure that I go down the edge, or otherwise my pocket won't be finished until I put binding on, and I want to make sure it's secure before that. So for these, I probably will need to take the pins out as I go, because they probably will be in the way. And I want to make sure my backing is flat. Nope, I already stitched it in. So now you get to see me fix that too. We're just going to take a few stitches out and go back. It's part of sewing and part of what keeps us humble too, I think. Because you're never above stitching the wrong stuff in and having to take it out. No matter how many years you've been doing it. So I probably should have put a pin in closer to the edge of that corner. Now we just go back and fix it. So I'm definitely going to either do an anchor stitch or run back and forth a couple of times. Back here. That looks a lot better. top. So I'm going to turn and I'm just going to come down to where I need to be, which I've got this one done here. And I'll be running across that a second time, but that's okay. I don't think it'll be that obvious. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and run back across the bottom until I get to where I left off before. And again, I just found the start of my other thread, so I'm going to clip that now. Yep, did it again. So I'm mostly doing this because I don't want a lot of thread ends, but if I keep making mistakes, I'm going to end up with a bunch of thread ends anyway. I think I'm just going to stop there. thing about invisible thread is it's kind of a pain to start and stop. So I've got all the bottom ends done and just this one little space here that I need to do. So I'm just going to start here, go across, and then go around the top. So I'm not going to show you all of the stitching up here. I think I'm going to do some crosshatch, so I'm going to go mark it, and then I'll show you the finished project. Okay, so we have got our advent calendar done. We've got a little quilting on the top, and so that is what it looks like. Kind of hard to see the whole thing. All at one time anyway. But that's what it looks like. And our pockets, just short little pockets. They only go down to here, which is fine. Then you can see more of the picture on each day. And I did go ahead, you can see it a little bit better on the back, went across this direction and this direction, but I've only got just one line of stitching in between. So it goes all the way over to the side here, and that works. This one I did a little bit differently, and the pockets go all the way down. So I brought the first fold up all the way to the next line, and that makes for a deeper pocket. But it also means that if you have anything very tall, it's going to start obstructing the next picture. But that's what it looks like if you make it short. And this is what it looks like if you make it tall. So thank you for watching, and yeah, get yourself an advent calendar panel. We will see you next time.